We all know what it means to whitewash something. Hello, I'm Mike Bain from Christian Voice New Zealand. Let me ask you the question, is it okay to God wash? In the Bible book of Matthew 23, we read where Jesus chastised the religious leaders of the day, and amongst his condemnation of the Pharisees, he likened them to whitewashed stones, looking beautiful on the outside, but on the inside they're full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. Or how apt for an organisation who stood for God but didn't deliver. Over the years and centuries, the term whitewash has been used in many ways to deceive, to cover over, sugarcoat, camouflage, launder, suppress, and many, many more words. Now, whoever invented whitewash in 1591 must have had Jesus' description of the Pharisees when they produced a cheap white paint or coating of chalked lime, which could be used quickly to give a clean, uniform appearance. Today we hear about a similar form of whitewashing in politics and business. Today it's called greenwashing. This is where everyone wants to jump on the environmental bandwagon and have the green tick for their business. If you're old enough to recall back in the day, as my 10-year-old grandson likes to refer to yesterday, many food manufacturers were wanting the Heart Foundation tick on their products to say their product was healthy. But it's not food, buildings, politicians, or even religious leaders I want to discuss today, so take a breath, Pastor. It's businesses, and it's those businesses who are now God-washing. Yes, God-washing. Well, what is God-washing? It's simple. It's businesses who claim to give the appearance of being a Christian business, but aren't. They're the same as their competitor down the road. Now, claiming to be a Christian business is like wearing your favourite Christian t-shirt out on a Saturday night and rolling home from the bar stinking of booze. It doesn't matter if you're a small one-man or a corporate business. If you want to be regarded as a Christian business, then there is a huge obligation. Now, this is where I get to apologise to all church leaders. I said this wasn't about you, but if your church or organisation is in the business of God, then you're included. But what is it which makes a Christian business? Because you are maybe the owner of a business and go to church and say you're a Christian makes your business no more a Christian business than calling Matthew himself a Christian tax collector. To just call yourself a Christian business is God-washing. There are many social media groups dedicated to Christian businesses and just as many to encourage those who like and follow them to use them. But why should we support one business over another? The question I've been pondering is, what really is a Christian business? And why should I, as a fellow Christian, support it? Now, I'm going to stereotype myself here, but as a descendant of Scottish meanness, my money and I are not parted easily. So why should I shop at your business and not business B? What is it that makes you a Christian business as opposed to the one being run by the non-Christian down the road? Well, let's take a bookseller as an example which stocks only Christian-oriented books like the Bible, apologetics, testimonies, maybe some teaching aids, and every time you're in the store, you find yourself humming along with the latest Hillsong CD playing in the store. You get the idea, as opposed to someone like Wickles. But what about a tradie or an appliance dealer who are labelled Christian businesses? When walking into their store or when the tradie comes to your house as a consumer, are you expected to notice the difference? For example, does your plumber wear a cross, have a Bible in his toolkit? When he's underneath your sink, does he wear a modesty cloth in case he shows off his builder's crack? Now, some tradies are obvious in their manner and workmanship, while others, I'm sad to say, aren't. But hang on. They go to church on Sunday, therefore they're Christians, but sadly their fruit belies the tree that they came from. An appliance retail owner may be a Christian but his staff are not, and they're just as aggressive in the making of the sale as those who work for the major brands. But there are some company owners who employ only Christians and have a work ethic which uses the biblical term slave when referring to their employees. I thank the Lord these are few and far between. We still haven't, though, got to the root of what is a Christian business. Is it a company owned by a good, God-fearing people whose ethics are beyond reproach, who supports and promotes a loving culture throughout its workforce and treats its customers fairly? Yeah, I'd say so. Or is it a company that just has a Christian name? Now, I ask these questions because, like the world, there's just something in people who want to rip others off. The majority of the claimed Christian-based businesses found on social media pages are legitimate. But I must ask, are your business principles the same as your biblical principles? The proof, I guess, is in how you honestly treat your customers. And likewise, when something goes wrong, how do professed Christians treat each other? Look, things sometimes can go south, and Jesus recognised this in Matthew 18, where he sets out the correct and loving way of dispute resolution. But today, with so much emphasis on secularism and the need to make money just to survive, we must also be mindful, if we're in business, that we don't sacrifice our principles. To advertise and say your business is a Christian business, it's God-washing. Be aware, though, that there's a huge expectation not just from fellow Christians, but also non-believers who at times may want to exploit your beliefs in business dealings. If you want it known that you're a Christian business, make sure your motives are intentional and your business is truly a Christian-run organisation where God is at the heart of it. But be aware of the distractions. You know, business and success breeds contempt, so don't forget the biblical principles of gathering regularly with other believers. Now, for those who don't and just fly the flag, you're God-washing your business. You're no different to the traders whose stalls and tables were upended by Jesus in the temple. Being on temple grounds didn't make them any more trustworthy as does claiming to be Christian. So don't use God in a commercial sense to wash your business to make it clean. Above all, do not claim to be a Christian business if you don't adhere to the principles found in the Bible. You know, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. He didn't wash their businesses. If you want to know what a good Christian business looks like, one which acts as the hands and feet of God, then look no further to the organisation, now a multi-million-dollar business founded by William and Catherine Booth, the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army doesn't have to have its image God-washed, because the tree its fruits come from is firmly planted in God, and it's one. No one today would dispute its claim. But what about yours? How does it measure up?